Hello everyone, welcome to the PRD show where we discuss all things non-fungible. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to jump right into it today. We've got a really great show planned for you. There's a lot going on, so I'm going to try to be quick. First things first, let's just take a look at the overall market volume, and it's abysmal. At a glance, it's slowly trending down. It's not the numbers we want to see. It's not the numbers we need to see in order to be profitable in this space the way that we used to not too long ago. Now, the thing to keep in mind is there is a change coming. We know that the Coinbase NFT marketplace is just around the corner. We're hopeful for January, may be delayed. Everything seems to be delayed in NFT land from what I have observed. That being said, right now we have roughly 300,000 active wallets in Opensea. What we are expecting with Coinbase is a massive influx of users. Just 2 days ago, I think they reported out that they have 2.5 million users on their waiting list. So obviously that could be a game changer in the NFT space. The reason I say that is every single day you go to any project launch platform that's showing activity and new projects coming up, there's 10, 20, 30, probably more new NFT projects every single day, but we're not getting that kind of growth for users. So we're reaching that point of oversaturation. And what's worse is new users are coming into the space. They are excited because they hear about all these 5, 10, 50, 100x gains that people are getting. But what they don't realize is those people are either A, extremely lucky, or B, they're putting in tremendous amounts of research. And what we're trying to do here with the PRD show and in our community, and do yourself a favor, join our Discord, the links will be below. We are trying to do that research for you. And we have several tools that are going to help save you a ton of time and to help you make you a much more profitable investor with your NFT decisions that you are making in this space. So more on that later. We've got plenty of videos to come on that. The reason I'm here today is to talk to you about a project that I'm really excited about, and it's called Invisible Friends. So let's take a look at it. So first things first, what do we know? What don't we know? What do we need to know, etc.? We're going to dive into all of that and more in this video. So first things first, when is mint? Late January. That's all we know right now. They have not established a final date. Mint price has not yet been determined. How do you whitelist? You got to be a very active community member. They're not doing this basic arduous grind where it's you've got to reach level 10, you've got to reach level 15. It's simply be a contributor to the community, be a real person, and there are benefits to owning two of their other projects, which we'll touch on in a little bit, but they're called Slim Hoods and Mood Rollers, which are two projects that were also dropped by the Random Character Collective, such as Invisible Friends. And again, we'll look at that in a little bit. For today's purpose, though, we are focused on Invisible Friends. So the first thing that you want to look at, as I always do, is who is the founder or who is the artist. So we did a little digging, and we know that it's Marcus Magnuson. Now, who is Marcus? Why should we trust him? Why should we believe in his ability to make this a successful project? Well, first thing's obvious. The hype around this project is insane. So they are doing something right. That is striking a chord with the NFT community. This is probably my top rated project right now. Now, this is an ever-changing space. Who knows what's coming out tomorrow that will change our direction. But for now, this is absolutely top-notch. You take a look at their Twitter directly. They have 100,000 followers. I believe they just hit 100,000 followers today. I looked at this a week ago, and they were only at 70,000. So 30,000 additional new followers in 1 week. I have no idea what this number is going to be by the time they get to late January when they mint. But if they continue at this pace, they're going to add another 100, 200,000 people. It's going to be absolutely astronomical. I could see that slowing down a little, but maybe they'll end up in that $150,000 to $200,000 range. So anyway, back to the founder, Marcus. Did a little more digging on him. You see here that he has a link to Foundation. We checked that out. And this is a bullish sign. He actually has several projects, that NFTs that he's selling on here, that are, they've sold for anywhere from 2 ETH to nearly as high as 5 ETH. Right here was the last sell for this invisible ghost friend man. So the other thing that actually gives me a lot of bullish feelings toward this project is, again, you look into Marcus Magnuson, and here on motiondesign.school, he actually has courses on the science of character animation. And then you take that a little further, you look into his YouTube video, which I highly recommend. You go to his YouTube account, Motion Marcus, but he shows some of a video called The Magic of Walk Cycles. You may be asking yourself, what is a walk cycle? Well, it's essentially a series of frames or illustrations that, when played in a loop, will create an animation of a character walking, which is the basis of what Invisible Friends is when you look at it. I mean, you take a look at the website, look at this guy. Super dope. I love everything I'm seeing. And you can tell that this guy has taken his entire, career to this moment, which could be and will likely be absolutely life-changing for this particular gentleman. And I just think it's wonderful to see someone taking their passion and bringing it to the NFT space. That is what we need, is someone that's here to bring value, or to bring something that they value or something that they are good at to this space. We're seeing way too many run-of-the-mill projects that are copy-paste, just BS projects that are going to go nowhere, and they're scaring people off in the space, which just infuriates me, because they come in, they get burned, and then you lose someone potentially permanently, and we don't need that. So anyway, back to his video, and I highly recommend you go watch it. Just a little bit of an animation of, several different types of walks. And you even see when you look at his course that he teaches different types of walks. And I won't break down each one, but it's totally worth your time if you're going to invest in this. I always recommend you do your own research. As a reminder, I am not a financial advisor. I am just someone who spends a lot of time, myself and my team, researching these projects so you don't have to. So once you take a look at that, I highly recommend you click the link below, you join their Discord, you try to get whitelisted, you join our Discord, you can pick our brain and work with my community on how we are going to try to get whitelisted, and hopefully we'll all win this together. I want to give you a bit more information to take into consideration as you make your decision on how you want to proceed with this project, Invisible Friends. So I mentioned earlier, it's part of the Random Character Collective, and this is comprised of several projects. So the collective itself was started by a gentleman named James Curran. He goes by Slim Jim in the Discord. You can see here in one of his recent announcements, well, not so recent, but one of his original announcements, that this all started because he had the idea in the back of his mind that he wanted to use everything he was learning in making an animated project to help other animators in the same space. And that's where this started building. So that's 3 projects within one collective. The first one by Slim Jim, or James Curran himself, which was Slim Hoods. The next was Mood Rollers by Lucas Sonato. And then finally, the one we're talking about today, Invisible Friends by Marcus Magnuson. So just to take a little bit of a look at the history, because the history can tell you where you're going sometimes, is first thing, we'll look at Slim Hoods. Pretty cool little art. It didn't massively take off. And if you look at the history, it's been a slow climb, and this last little oomph up, if you will, I believe is directly a result of some of these announcements that it can increase your whitelist odds for Invisible Friends, and you're going to see the same trend on Mood Rollers. So again, cool art, didn't really take off, even less so than Slim Hoods. You look at the activity and you see a pump around the same time, and it's been elevated ever since. I do kick myself. I was looking at these when they were 0.06 ETH on the floor. Thought about snagging one just in case they made this announcement. Would have been right, but no sense in crying over spilt milk. Okay, so listen up. This part's critical. If you plan to buy Slim Hoods and Mood Rollers in effort to whitelist for Invisible Friends, be fully prepared for the floor to crash back down on both of these projects after the Invisible Friends whitelist process is complete. That's with the assumption I am right about why the floor is climbing. I do think it's completely tied, so I would brace yourself for the floor on these to crash. So you have to take into account how much of a profit you anticipate being able to make on Invisible Friends, and will that offset any losses that may or may not be associated with mood rollers and slim hoods. Now, that's not guaranteed, that's just my assumptions. So where does all of this leave us? I'm going to tell you exactly what my plan is, and my plan is to aggressively go after the whitelist via every avenue I can. And if I don't get whitelist, I'm going to try to snag one off the floor. I don't typically make price predictions, but I am so confident in this project that I will throw out some minimal numbers that I expect to see. I fully do not see any possibility that this will be below a half ETH on the floor. I think 0.5 ETH will be the minimum, and this could be much larger if the Coinbase launch coincides and if they are one of the approved projects on the Coinbase NFT marketplace platform. If those two things happen, this is easily a 1.5 ETH minimum floor. That's my prediction. Keep this video. We'll fact check it later. Thanks, guys.